Let's start in the American Athletic Conference with pretty much an elimination game between two teams that many thought were going to compete for the conference championship between UCF and Memphis. Right now at BetMGM, UCF is a 3-point favorite, over under 73.5. UCF is sitting at 2-1 on the year. They're coming off of a bye after they blew an 18-point lead against Tulsa 2 weeks ago and lost 34-26. It's only like the second time in the last 41 games that UCF didn't get to 30. Memphis, meanwhile, also is coming off of a bye. They are 1-1 on this season. They opened up the year with a win and non-cover against Arkansas State, and then they lost against SMU. And they surprisingly also didn't get to 30 points in that game. When you look at this series, UCF has absolutely dominated it. I mean, the splits are shocking. They've won 13 in a row, all since 2005. I think the only time Memphis has won was when they were Memphis State back in 1990. So coming into the year, I was very high on UCF. I was shocked that they blew that lead against Tulsa. This was my favorite to win the conference. I loved what they were bringing back on defense. Obviously, their offense led by Dylan Gabriel. They have weapons all over the place. This is a team that was extremely unlucky in their losses last year and really could have went undefeated. But what's happened so far, they had some opt-outs which hurt their depth on the offensive and defensive lines. But this, to me, is still the most talented team in the conference. What's been killing them is penalties. I mean, just take a look at that Tulsa game. They had 3 huge turnovers, and they had 18 penalties. 18 for 124 yards. And they rank 75th out of 76 teams, averaging 105 penalty yards per game. I mean, it's messy. Memphis, on the other hand, their secondary, they have a lot of transition and turnover on this team. You just take a look at the offense. Brady White does come back at quarterback, but you had Kenneth Gainwell, an electric running back. He opted out. They lost Antonio Gibson, who's starring in Washington right now as a running back, but he was great on the outside for Memphis last year. They also lost Kadarian Jones. He was their third leading receiver. And they also lost their tight end. They have Coxie back, and they do have some weapons, but the offense just hasn't looked right. On the other side of the ball, Mike McIntyre takes over as defensive coordinator, so they're going through a scheme change there. But their secondary has really struggled against Arkansas State and SMU, who lost 2 of their better players during that game and still held on for the win. What this comes down to me is which team is going to get right over that bye. Is UCF going to clean up some of the mistakes they've made, which is I think all they really need to do to win this game? Or is Memphis going to figure some things out on the offensive side of the ball with their timing, which has looked a little off? Brady White hasn't been as accurate as I would have expected. The defense going through a scheme change. So how do they benefit from those 2 weeks before this game? I think UCF is the better team. I make this closer to 5. I think you make this closer to 7. So I see value in UCF here. I like them better on both sides of the ball. I think they ultimately win this game in the Liberty Bowl, where I think we're going to have like 12,000 fans or so, which should help Memphis a bit. What do you see here?
Yeah, I think that this is one of the more perfect spots to be a live trader. And what I mean by that is you're going to be able to get both teams on both sides at plus money. I mean, when you have a total as high as 74 and you have a point spread of 3, there's really just no value at all in taking either of these teams in a field goal. I mean, the game may end up being a field goal game. It could go to overtime. We've seen that out of these 2 teams before. So I'm not sure what the value is in taking, Central Florida this early, or even taking Memphis at plus 3, unless you just want to get an opening stance on the underdog and play it back on UCF if it goes that way. But, I think we're definitely in for another shootout here. The game is much lower than what my projections are, but there are ways I see for Memphis to get by in this game. Central Florida, they're going to be able to take advantage of the Memphis pass defense, which ranks in the mid-60s in success rate and explosiveness. So that's a benefit for the Knights. They're going to be able to throw anytime they won against this defense. Don't expect Dylan Gabriel to have any issues. Central Florida has allowed just 3 sacks. They really haven't had that many hurries. I know that their sack rate right now is listed as number 1 in the country if you look on Football Outsiders. Both teams, they're looking to move pretty fast. I mean, we've talked about Memphis before in recent years that they're not a fast team. They're an explosive team, which makes people think that they're fast. But this year they actually are running a pretty high tempo. They're 22nd in seconds per play. UCF, Josh Heupel, fast as always, 3rd in the nation in seconds per play. So I think we may actually, with the up tempo, we may actually get more scoring than what we're used to in this series. But, Memphis offense is 9th in passing success rate. They're just 29th in pass explosiveness. But the thing that really stuck out to me when you put these numbers and you combine them up against each other is that Central Florida is 71st against passing EPA, which is expected points, which is, it's basically close to explosiveness. That means Memphis is going to be able to get shots down the field at any time. I mean, UCF is ranking one of the worst, and I'm not fooled by that score in the Georgia Tech game whatsoever. Georgia Tech had 2+ first downs on 50% of their drives. That was extremely sustainable. That is a very high success rate against this UCF defense, and that was just Georgia Tech, who I think we all consider not as good of an offense as what Memphis has. So, the other major advantage in here, for Central Florida, they're going to have some problems, stopping Memphis from scoring. Memphis is top 25 in finishing drives. They're getting points up on the board past the 40. Central Florida's not defending it very well. They're 60th out of 76 teams that have played. They're allowing somewhere around the high 4s of points, per trip past the 40-yard line. So, in a live trading game, I'm going to try to get both sides. We'll see that going on during the day while this game, kicks off, 3:30 Eastern time. But I think Memphis is the side, and I really want to focus on getting them at a number that I feel comfortable taking into overtime, which could be 7 or 8. I do like Memphis, but I am going to be waiting to shop for a better number, and I'll probably do the same thing on Central Florida. But I actually kind of like Memphis's chances in this one.
Well, not surprisingly, based on last week, I disagree. I don't know if I'll take UCF if I get a flat 3, possibly, but maybe not. You do make a great point with this being a good live trading game. And look, Memphis has come out slow the past 2 weeks, but I really think, does Memphis solve some things on the defensive and offensive side on this bye, or does UCF clean up some of the penalties and sloppiness that cost them against Tulsa? Whichever team I think does either one of those things better ultimately wins this game, but I think that's going to be UCF. So I would love to get them live as a dog if Memphis comes out and scores first.